Have you ever played Pong, Pac-Man, Mario, Pokemon, Minecraft or Fortnite? These video games and many more have shaped the childhood of millions of people. From the tales of Herodot, in which a game saved the kingdom, to the ancient Olympic Games, to my brother beating the whole family at Monopoly.
1, 2, 3, go!
The need to play games is as old as humanity itself. And no matter if on a professional basis or not, the likelihood that you haven't played a game in your life is pretty low. And like every other aspect in life, gaming has also moved into the digital world. But when has that happened and what does that mean for us? Let's find out. Although the rise of games began in the 70s, its invention happened a couple of years earlier. The history of video games is directly linked to the invention of the computer. So let's fly to England, where the mathematician,
computer scientist, logician, cryptanalyst, philosopher, theoretical biologist,
the brilliant Alan Turing helped to elevate cryptography and computers to a new level. One of his fellow students played around and adapted checkers onto computers. So the first digital adaptations of analog games started to emerge in the 50s. Now let's fly to the US, where creative minds developed simple computer games at universities. They weren't necessarily intended for entertainment, but to demonstrate how the new and powerful technology worked. The first video game ever programmed for entertainment was in '58, Tennis for Two by William Higginbotham. It was presented at a 3-day exhibition where teenagers queued up to try and play the game. Alright, let's do it like Marty McFly and travel back in time to the year 1922, where in Pirmasens, Germany, a boy named Ralph Baer was born. But why is that important? Because the kid grew up to be known as the father of video games. Due to his family fearing persecution, they fled from Germany to New York. He actually had a pretty interesting story, so if you want to know more, say it in the comments down below. Long story short, after fleeing from Germany, being in World War II, coming back and getting his bachelor's degree, he eventually developed what became one of the first prototypes of a video game console, hence his nickname. Ralph also made a table tennis game, predecessor of Pong, and got the attention of another big guy in the industry, Nolan Bushnell. Together with his friend Ted Dabney, they founded Atari in '72. For the next decade, the company dominated the video game industry, and their first game, Pong, was destined to be a global success. Although the idea itself was not new, Atari surprised everyone by creating the first video game machine and integrating the computer with a display screen and a coin slot. Now, for the first time in history, the general public had access to a video game for very little money. But by then, computer technology had also made significant progress. For example, Apple was founded by the two legendary Steves, who had also actually worked for Atari. Video games became more and more popular, and the golden era of arcades, which started in the 80s, was dominated by one game, Space Invaders. Developing and selling games was like printing money. That's why games like Pac-Man, Mario Bros, or SimCity, which ruled the gaming world for years to come, were introduced in this time frame. New companies emerged like Commodore with its Commodore 64. Nintendo introduced the Nintendo Entertainment System console, or NES for short. With more refined technologies, gameplay and graphics became more innovative. With computers like the Commodore 64, highly motivated users were even able to program their own games. That's also why most genres have their origin in this time period. But that also brought something else with it. During these years, the market was flooded by games. Pretty similar to nowadays. That's why Nintendo created their seal of quality just to stand out from the crowd. Therefore, children and teenagers started to spend hours in front of their computers and consoles. And at the end of the decade, when the Game Boy was released, they even carried on playing by torchlight under the blankets. Moms hated this trick, especially mine. But even though the gaming industry almost collapsed in the 80s, in the 90s it literally entered a new dimension as graphics became 3D. These games became more realistic and had more complex scenarios. In the ever-growing gaming market, console and game manufacturers vied for a share. Now also companies from other industries like Microsoft or Sony wanted to have a piece of the cake. So in '94, Sony took a quantum leap with its PlayStation launch. Speaking in technical and graphic terms, it was a futuristic innovation of consoles. So developers and gamers were hyped for new games. So game design studios came up with more innovative ideas. They developed a war game, Command & Conquer, in '95, Tomb Raider in '96, where historical artifacts were searched, and in '97, Age of Empires, with the concept of building entire civilizations. But in '96, one game just went for gold. In this game, you could explore a whole new world. You had to catch little monsters, and you had to beat all the other trainers to become the very best. Pokemon. This game just hit like a bomb. Tell us below what your first Pokemon game was. Mine was, I think, Yellow. But talking about bombs, with the increasing violence, the gaming industry lost its innocence. First-person shooter games started with Wolfenstein 3D in '92, and especially the game Mortal Kombat threw all in the fire. For the first time, questions begin to arise whether violence in video games leads to violence in real life. The discussion related to this even continues today. But what do you think? Do you think violence in video games leads to violence in real life? Let us know in the comments down below. But anyhow, at the start of the next millennium, the internet was still not widespread, so players gathered up at local networks in order to play against each other. Especially popular at those parties was the game Counter-Strike. Another game anti-gamers could point at. Since the early 2000s, internet capabilities and computer processor technology has improved at such a fast rate that each new batch of games set a new benchmark. And once the internet became popular and easy to access, oh boy, the gaming industry was unstoppable. Massive multiplayer online role-playing games. Massive multiplayer online role-playing games. Oh my god, say that 3 times very fast, I dare you. Or MMORPGs like World of Warcraft were the shit.
Alright, chums up. Ready, guys? Let's do this. Leroy Dragons!
Oh my god, he just ran in.
With advancements in technology, powerful graphics have become more and more realistic, and thanks to artificial intelligence, simulated opponents behave differently in every situation. Open world games offer players the opportunity to explore a game freely. Some even allow us to create a virtual world as we like, which is a concept known as sandbox. The first decade of the 21st century saw many hit games like The Sims, Grand Theft Auto, or Minecraft. But then, in 2007, in a world where people lived freely without their smartphones, one company changed everything. The iPhone revolutionized the mobile industry, and game creators shifted towards developing games for smartphones. The time-killing nature of mobile gaming is very attractive to many people. So with the spread of smartphones, the number of mobile gaming players increased as well, and mobile gaming became so popular that games like Angry Birds made 200 million in 2012. Games like Flappy Birds, Candy Crush, or Clash of Clans with their creative approach can be played again and again without getting boring. We also saw a rise of Let's Play videos. Gamers could now record themselves playing browser games or AAA titles, commenting on the gameplay, and even giving tips. This way, many have been able to make millions. As of now, games have become a billion-dollar business. But unfortunately, it's not all fun and games with games. The industry became pretty toxic, and big publishing studios started harassing their employees, putting money over people, and therefore demanding lots of overtime work, also known as crunch time, to get a title published.
In exactly 5 days, we will be $100 billion richer.
And if that's not enough, some publishers knowingly guide their players to bankruptcy by implementing addictive mechanics used in the gambling industry. All this, together with the bias that games make people more violent, give games a pretty bad reputation. But especially nowadays, games can and have been proven to be so much more. We all have heard some of our family members say, "Learn something right, son. You cannot make money with gaming." But with YouTubers,
What's up, gamers?
streamers, and growing esports competitions,
Your Fortnite World Champion!
you can literally make millions by making or playing games. And since we grew to be more and more gamers, the genre of serious games became more and more relevant. Serious games are a part of games where the primary focus is on something else than entertainment, and therefore with a massive potential for our education. Also, the gamification of different activities, tasks, or even jobs becomes more and more relevant. Gamification is awesome to basically make boring activities a bit more fun. I can only recommend you to watch this TED Talk by the inspiring person Jane McGonigal. Her book was a big inspiration for why we started developing games. And this brings me to us. Our goal is to inspire and empower heroes through technology and games. That's why with all of our games, you support to finance sustainable and environmental projects all over the world. All of our games are free, and each time you see an ad, we get a bit of money. This then goes to finance cleanups and not only helps to make beaches more pretty, but also helps animals like this little fella to have a chance to live a normal life. It doesn't matter where you live, you donate without using your own money. So go ahead and download them now and start being a hero. With that shameless plug out of the way, our journey comes to an end. We've seen computer technology rise and numerous games that have been developed for pretty much every type of platform by countless developers. As a result, every day hundreds of people are joining the gaming community. In this era of technological advancement and sometimes addictive gaming, not only children and teenagers, but also adults are coming to try out these games. That's why moms make up for huge target groups for mobile gaming, thanks to games like Candy Crush. Every day, people are found to play on their phones, on their consoles, or on their PCs. Offerings like Apple Arcade or Microsoft Game Pass even push this trend, which is only going to rise. Today, we're standing right at the new crossroad for the gaming industry with cloud gaming, AR/VR games, in-game NFTs, or the multiverse standing right in line waiting for their chance to blow up. We have all the choices for the future of video games right at our fingertips. And with all of these choices, you decide which future it will be. What's up guys, this is Editor Victor, and I totally forgot to record an end card, so I guess this is it. This video cost me way more time than I would have liked, so if you loved it, leave a subscribe, hit that like button, and yeah, show us some love in the comments down below. Also, if you have a particular topic that interests you, tell us in the comments and maybe we'll consider it in the future. Until then, let's play games for a better future. Bye.